2016 council meeting now in session. Mr. Goodspeed, leads the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cooper?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Here.
Mayor Zelinski?
Here.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Here.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Here.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Here.
City Manager?
Here.
City Attorney?
Here.
DPW Director?
Here.
Finance Director?
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator?
Here.
City Engineer?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearings. Public hearing on the 2019-2020 budget and capital improvement plan. The city fiscal year runs from July 1st through June 30th under section 7-4 of the charter. A public hearing is required on the budget. It must be adopted not later than May 15th of each year. A work session was held on Tuesday, April 9th, with an additional work session scheduled for later this evening. Optional work sessions are scheduled for Tuesday, April 23rd, and Thursday, April 30th, 2019. The budget calendar anticipates adoption of the budget at the May 7th, 2019 meeting. At this time, the public has an opportunity to comment on the 2019-20 budget and capital improvement plan. No action is just anticipated. Do we have anybody that'd like to comment on the 2019-2020 budget? Nobody? I'll close the public hearing. Citizens' comments on agenda-related items. Any citizens would like to comment on agenda-related items? Seeing none, consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are on the agenda and considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval of the consent agenda, any member of council may have an item from the consent agenda removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Consent agenda items include approval of minutes, payroll report, invoice report, notification regarding next work session, consideration of a letter of support for the Manistee County Council on Aging, consideration of a letter of support for the Manistee Saints, consideration of an annual Manistee Lions White Cane fundraiser. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yep.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yep.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Unfinished business, we have none. New business. Consideration of a zoning ordinance amendment, Z 19-01, Article 5, Section 514E. At their March 20th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, a public hearing was held to amend Article 5, Section 514E to replace the word painted with approved. The Planning Commission is recommending approval of this zoning amendment. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If the ordinance is introduced this evening, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce zoning ordinance Z 19-01, amending Article 5, Section 514E, replacing painted with approved. Do I have a motion?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just want to make a couple comments. I've been at the planning commission meetings when this was discussed, and I had no idea there were so many different ways you could mark parking spots. So I'm pleased with this change. I think that's a good thing for us to do.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper? Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of a third amendment to the site lease with T-Mobile Central LLC at the Industrial Park Water Tower. The city has an existing lease with T-Mobile Central LLC for space at the Industrial Park Water Tower to accommodate cellular telephone antennas and related equipment. T-Mobile has made the request to upgrade some of their equipment at the site and slightly expand the lease premises. The city has negotiated a lease amendment with 11% increase in rent. Annual rental will now be $18,000 with a 2.75 annual escalator. The city attorney has reviewed and approved the agreement. At this time, council could take action to approve a third amendment to site lease with T-Mobile Central LLC and authorize the mayor to execute the document. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac,
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Smansky,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of a new criminal ordinance prosecution agreement with Micah Myers PLC. The city agreement with Micah Myers PLC expired on December 31st, 2018. Micah Myers has continued to represent the city under the provisions of the expired agreement. Staff worked with Micah Myers on a new agreement that runs from January 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2019, with a possibility of 2 one-year extensions. At this time, council could take action to approve a new agreement with Micah Myers PLC for the prosecution of misdemeanor ordinance violations. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I just noticed that there is a typo in the first paragraph. Last line, it says January 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2019. It should be June 30th, 2020. Apologize for that typo.
Do I have a motion on the amendment?
I'll make a motion to approve a new agreement with Michael Myers PLC for the prosecution of misdemeanor ordinance violations from January 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pontiac,
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Smansky,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Consideration of an MDOT local bridge funding application. Maple Street Bridge is a bascule bridge and classified as a complex bridge by the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration. The bridge is owned and operated by the city of Manistee. The city is applying for funding to assist in preventive maintenance work consisting of concrete repair, painting, electrical, and miscellaneous repairs. At this time, council could take action to approve the authorizing resolution to apply for up to $750,000 in MDOT local bridge funds with the city major street fund, providing matching funds at or above the minimum 5%, and authorize the city manager to execute the application. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
If we get this, are we going to be able to get something to, some funds somewhere to fix Memorial Drive? Just refresh my memory on that.
The two projects are not necessarily tied together. However, we did meet with MDOT, the regional director, last week. We understand that MDOT is planning to do some major structural rehabilitations on the Memorial Bridge in the year 2023. So we're applying for these funds at this time to make sure that our bridge is rehabbed prior to that. And so we're targeting 2022. We feel that because it's preventative maintenance, because we're making the application at the appropriate time, and because it is the detour route for MDOT's bridge, we think we've got a good opportunity to fund these improvements. We've also had, in two separate meetings and contacts with MDOT, let them know that the local detour for the US 31 bridge includes Memorial Drive and Washington Street. And both of those, Memorial Drive today isn't sufficient for those traffic levels. Memorial Drive, in its current condition, probably could handle them, but 3/4 4 years down the road, likely will not. So we've put them on notice. We'll be providing that request to upgrade the local detour route to MDOT. And then it could, where our hopes are that MDOT will fund the improvements of that detour route.
Okay, great. That's what I was hoping to hear again.
And then we've also layered in some utility upgrades underneath Washington Street in the event that MDOT funds that project. We've matched local utility funds to do some water main upgrades at the same time. So like we talked about in our capital improvement plan, they're all meshing together and trying to leverage the dollars that we can.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of a contract with MDOT for, did I just do that one?
No.
Okay, I've lost track. Consideration of a contract with MDOT for the reconstruction of 12th Street from Maple to US 31. The city successfully applied for a $375,000 small urban grant to reconstruct a portion of 12th Street. MDOT has bid the project and requires entering into a contract to administer the construction project. At this time, council could take action to approve the authorizing resolution to enter into a local agency contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of 12th Street from Maple to US 31. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Jeff, is that just part of the amount, the 375, or is that the total amount for 12?
The low bid was $819,817.15. So the $375,000 small urban grant from MDOT, the balance of the project and the engineering costs on top of that will be paid for by the city's major street funds, and we've budgeted for that.
Yep. And the reason we're in contract is this is a state contract for the reconstruction work?
Yeah, it's a requirement once you receive a grant from MDOT that the project is run through their local agency project. So MDOT, the city is responsible for designing the project and doing the construction administration, but the state of Michigan advertises it, awards the construction contracts. They actually pay the contractor, and then they bill back the city for the city's portion. And so this contract is that legal agreement to do those things.
And they're also responsible for the contract itself as far as administering the contract?
Technically they are, but our engineers will run through the change orders, the pay estimates, and we submit all that paperwork and keep the files. That's part of the local agency requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of a community foundation grant application to resurface First Street Beach tennis courts. The city of Manistee owns 3 tennis courts facilities within the park system. In 2018, a focus group organized by the Manistee County Community Foundation recommended that First Street Beach was the most cost-effective of the facilities to upgrade. The project would include resurfacing, restriping 4 tennis courts with improved netting, fencing, and a new barrier-free access to the facility. The total project amount is estimated at $67,200, with a grant request of $39,700. At this time, council could take action to authorize submitting a grant application to the Manistee County Foundation to renovate the First Street Beach tennis court. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Yes. I have still some questions in my mind about the schools using the tennis courts. Their tennis courts are in not usable condition, and I was hoping to hear that schools would at least pick up part of the tab since they want to use the tennis courts for their league.
Yeah, currently we have 3 tennis court facilities. We have courts at Fifth Avenue Beach, First Street, and also within Sands Park. None of those courts are in sufficient condition for them to host matches, high school matches. They do practice down at First Street Beach because they're the best courts that we have. I have talked with the school superintendent, and the school superintendent, both last year when we made this application, and he's restated it this year, that the school would be willing to enter in, they cannot pay for a capital improvement, a public facility, but what they would be willing to do is to enter into a use agreement that allows the school to use those courts for practice and hosting matches like they've done in the past, and then they'd be able to contribute on an annual basis to that. So we've listed that as part of our match contribution for this grant application.
I'm still confused. So where does the money come from if they don't match?
They can,
That-
They can,
can't buy.
okay.
So that they would, with a use agreement, they would make an annual payment to the city. The city would then recover part of that match commitment.
Do we know how much that might be?
What the discussion has been is $1,000 a year. And we haven't discussed the term. I would say our discussions have been in the 5 to 8 year category.
Okay.
Or like a 5-year with some renewable.
I just wanted to see them.
Yep,
Sounds
we've also, and they wrote a letter of support to us for the grant application. We've also had discussions with the Manistee Recreation Association. I believe they have a board meeting this week and are gonna consider either contribution or purchase of some equipment that'll help support this project. We've had some other ideas on some other local grant matching, and we've received 5 letters of support to put along with our application.
Okay. Do we know when when we're gonna have something in writing from them on the lease?
Based on if council approves this application, the superintendent said that we could start those discussions in the near future, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. McCullough, I'm gathering that we're going to be expanding the tennis courts from 3 to 4? Is that how I read this?
No, there are currently 4 courts there
There are
today.
4, okay. Because then in the front line, it says Manistee owns 3 tennis court facilities within our parks. Okay, that's the total park system.
One at First Street, one at Fifth Avenue, one at Sands Park. The one at First Street has 4 separate courts within that facility.
Now, when that's done, they'll be able to then host tennis tournaments here in Manistee, the school?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and ideally, they like 8 courts
Right.
to be able to host those matches, but so that they've got more than one school that participates, but they would at least be able to host a kind of a one-on-one school event. The MRA's interest in it is they hold 3 different camps through the summertime for youth, and so we've been reaching out to try to get as much support for this as possible. And then there's some upgrades that we had intended to do out of our parks operating budget and out of the public works budget with the sidewalk portion. So last year when we met with the Community Foundation's Board of Directors, they gave us some insight on our field visit, but then after we did not, or were not awarded that grant, they gave us further information on how we can enhance this process. So we've actually added some things that we were intending to do the facility into the project. It increases our match amount. Last year we submitted it at 25%. This brings it up to 40%, but really doesn't spend any more money out of the city's budget. And we've partnered with the school, partnering with the MRA, and then getting other community, showing community support through those letters of interest. I'm hoping will be, help us go past the edge there.
Is there still conversation about pickleball courts at the tennis courts located on 8th Street near the old high school?
There was conversation about that last year when we were looking to completely rehab that, and that was the Parks Commission recommended that as the grant application. And not just the Parks Commission, but the Sands Park Control Board, which is made up of the city and the schools. However, when the Community Foundation, they got several inquiries to pickleball and tennis, So they put together kind of a focus group and looked at all the different facilities. And it became very clear, and the recommendation of that group was pickleball it uses a different height net. The courts are different size. You can dual purpose a court by striping it for tennis and then again striping it for pickleball, but it gets confusing. And so I believe Manistee Township applied to convert their tennis facilities to a pickleball facility, and I believe they were awarded grant money from the foundation last year to do that. So there'll be separate facilities for different uses.
Thank you.
Well, I thought that last year when we all discussed this thing with the courts, that Manistee High wanted to put the thing down at First Street and do away with 8th Street, and we didn't agree with that at that time. And Manistee High gonna stay with it then and keep doing it, or are they gonna build their own like they suggested?
Well, back when both the Sands Park facility and the First Street facilities were in good shape, Manistee High School used both of those for home matches and did all their practicing at Sands Park. But Sands Park right now, the base material, the asphalt material is cracked so badly, we've patched it and filled the cracks and patched it, but it's in such bad condition that it's unsafe and it can't be resurfaced anymore. The asphalt's gotta be completely removed, repaved, and if I recall, that was about $160,000 to $180,000 project. So the courts down at First Street Beach, the base material's in good condition, so we believe that we can just rehab the surface and recoat it and restripe it, and for a lot less money, make those courts in better condition and playable. So right now, the school is not using Sands Park at all just because of the condition.
Or do they intend to build their own like they talked about?
I think that's in their long-term plan, is to build their own facility. But I know that the school isn't in a financial position to do that right now.
Are we ever gonna do anything with Sands Park after, even though you build First Street?
I would love to, it's just finding
I mean, it's used a lot.
yeah.
I just have a question, and you might not be able to answer, but at one time there was some discussion about with the school being involved in using the court, is there any consideration on how you're gonna regulate the use of that tennis court? It's a public tennis court.
Yeah, it's a public facility, but the school, when they were in usable condition, and even now down at First Street, uses them for practice. I've never been aware of any conflict
I
with
haven't
that
either,
occurring.
I just wondered if it,
In most of the local tennis groups and leagues are aware of when the games are, the schedules and the practices, and schedule around that stuff, so.
if you improve them, there might be a little more use. But anyway,
I hope so,
so do I.
yeah. I mean, we could post a kind of a notification sign that practices are held on such and such days a week or something, if that's appropriate, or if it's regular, but it hasn't been an issue in the past.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, please take the vote.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The city clerk has taken action to advertise vacancies on the Board of Review, Harbor Commission, Historical District Commission, Peg Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayoral appointments require a motion, second, and council voted support. Nominations for council appointment do not require a second. After all nominations are made, council votes on the nominee until one nominee receives majority vote. The following applications have been received. Board of Review, one alternate vacancy, term ending 12/31/19. Application must be a city taxpayer and registered to vote in the city. This is a city council appointment. Angela M. Tabor, 523 Second Street. Do I have a nominee?
I will make a motion for a nominee. I would like to nominate Angela M. Tabor to 523, term ending 12/31/19.
Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, does anybody here know who she is? Never heard of that name before in Manistee. No?
Any other discussion?
She said she's gonna be here.
And she's the incumbent. is she?
No, she's not.
Not on the committee.
You know her?
No. She's a city taxpayer, she meets regulations.
Yeah, I know. Wondering if anybody knew who.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. I'm going to skip down to 9C, consideration of a resolution in administrative professional week and day. In recognition, in recognition of the contribution to the workplace provided by all professional in resolution to be prepared, let me start over. In recognition of contribution to the workplace provided by all office professionals, a resolution has been prepared proclaiming the week of April 22nd through 26th, 2019 as Administrative Professional Week, and Wednesday, April 24th, 2019 as Administrative Professional Day in the city of Manistee. At this time, council could take action to proclaim the week of April 22nd through 26th, 2019 as Administrative Professional Week, and Wednesday, April 24th, 2019 as Administrative Professional Day in the city of Manistee. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Szymanski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac,
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Notifications, communications, and announcements. A report from the Alternative for Area Youth. At a regular part of each council meeting is a report from a cooperating agency, organization, or department. At this time, Ms. Sheila Kaminsky will report on the activities of the alternate for area youth and respond to any questions council may have regarding their activities. No action is required. Sheila.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Good evening.
Council members. Thanks for having us again. You all seem to change your faces for me, and I keep showing up. I've been doing this for quite a while now. I'm sorry that technology is not my friend. I tried to bring up PowerPoint for you tonight, but it's on my iPad. I just don't know how to get it up on the screen for you. So, I would like to tell you about what we've done in the last year and what we plan to do over the summer. Our board of directors now consists of Linda Gamashchik, Cindy Fuller, Linda Wright, and Tanya Hunter. We had a great winter ice skating season. We had a nice long season because we had such a cold winter, and it was great. The city did their part, put up the ice rink, got us our skates. We had 600 skaters in and out, different days. We tally marked all the comings and goings of the people at the teen center. So during the skating weeks, we logged 600 tally marks. That tells you how many of our community people came and skated. Sure, some of them were repeat, some of them were there every day, but that's okay. We don't mind. Over the course of the year, we had 3,000 tally marks. So that tells us that we've had a lot of traffic for local, the neighborhood kids mostly, the kids right from Kennedy School immediately after school until about 6 o'clock. They come in, we're there from 3 until 8 every day but Sunday. During ice skating, we stay open on Sunday. We're there as much as we can be during skating season so that we can get every use out of the ice that we can. I just like to remind you, we provide a safe environment for the children of all ages to gather. They use the skate park, not as often as they used to, but I see some renewed life coming back with skaters and bikers on the skate park. We serve a variety of concessions in our concession stand. We don't charge a whole lot for that because the kids that come don't always have a whole lot of money. We make enough to pay for our food license, basically, on our concessions. We're there for all of the baseball, softball games that happen, starting soon. I see they're out there trying to get ready to spruce up the field for the softball. They play tournaments, and sometimes we're there till 11 o'clock at night. The little guys like to play under the lights, so we do that in the summertime. The center space itself is used for all kinds of things. We've had birthday parties, graduation parties. We have a class reunion coming up. Big brothers, big sisters have met there. The foreign exchange students come and have a gathering there at least twice a year. Scouts will come. Staircase Youth Services uses our facility. The ARC uses the space to gather for parties that they want to have, and it's convenient and accessible for their needs. We were blessed by Santa this year. We got our new Wii gaming system with 50 games from a donation. We got a piano brought in, so now the kids are banging away and getting a little musical exercise. We've done some fundraising in the past. We've had rummage sales, soup and salad luncheons, silent auction, tag sales, just to generate some extra funds. This year we are about to embark on a game night with the new business downtown, the Backstage Games and Hobbies. They are going to come and facilitate a game night for the kids at least once a month, if not twice a month, throughout the summer. So I hope that's going to be a lot of fun for everybody. We have also looked into having a skateboard demo, which we did a few years back, where we had some people come and skateboard and show everybody what they could do on those ramps that we have, and hopefully that'll help spur that new interest in the skateboarding. We're looking forward to working with the Parks Department through the summer. We've had a great year so far. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
No, Sheila, I see when I come by in the wintertime, I mean, some of the temperatures are really cold and few kids are outside. I mean, I don't know what's inside, so I can't tell you what your amount of kids are inside.
Yeah, you don't get to see them much because they don't drive. It's not like we have a parking lot full of
Right.
cars, so, but
Yeah,
they're
we-
there. We average, I would say, 12 kids every day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. We've had up to 30, we've had as few as 2. But if I take it all and average it out, we, at least 12 kids a day that come in.
What's the age range?
The kids that come from Kennedy School are 3rd grade and up. A lot of those people will bring their families, which are going to be 1st and 2nd graders as well as 5th and 6th graders. It's a city park. We used to have a 10 and older rule. You can't be here unless you're 10, but with adult supervision, they can be 10 and be there.
But 3rd graders are like 8 and 9.
Yes.
So
Yes.
are they there with?
They come with an older sibling, or they come with their parent, comes in and actually hangs with them, plays with them. We have a few parents that bring them on the weekend and play pool and air hockey, and sometimes you have parents that are weekend parents. It's a nice place for them to come and hang with their kids for an afternoon.
What's the
I don't have a lot of older kids. I have a few older kids,
I'm just seeing like, usually you have to have like a daycare license if you have anybody less than 12 years of age.
We're not daycare,
Yeah, but it's another
it's a
parent.
city park. The children in those neighborhoods run the streets, and I would just as soon they were running in our yard as anywhere else. So, no, we don't have to have a daycare license because we're not providing any kind of care for them. It's a public park. It's like going to the beach, you know? People send their kids to the beach all the time.
I have a question.
Sure.
I was surprised and pleased to hear what you said about the new game store that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how you got together with them. Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? How did that work?
Well, in the past, we had a woman who liked to come with her children and know where they were and be involved in what they were doing. And she used to run our Pokemon League. We had a league that met twice a week for a number of weeks. And she came and she was the facilitator. And so that was kind of a taste of what that was like. That was a few years back. And then I saw this store opening up online, and I got really excited about it, and I reached out to them and said, you know, we used to have somebody who could do that, and I know a lot of the students at Kennedy, a lot of the students at the high school are all into playing those magic cards and Pokemon cards and other assorted games that if they wanted to have a space to do that, we'd be welcome, you know, we would welcome them to come in and do that. He told me that they're gonna be open once a week in their room for that event, but they would also like a satellite event for others.
And that's great. Thank you for reaching out. I think that was a good move.
It was a match made in heaven.
Do you have just one employee there, or is there volunteers?
I am paid director, and Cindy Sheephelm is also paid employee, so there's two of us. And we split about 58 hours a week. She does half, I do half, sometimes more, sometimes less.
You mentioned like graduation parties and birthday parties. Is that, do you rent the space out, or is it just?
We have posted that it would cost $50 to do that, but we very rarely charge somebody, and they're always more than gracious to give us a donation.
Thank you.
Thank
Sheila,
you.
I'd just like to thank you for your dedicated service for many years and serving the community. It's not a job, it's a calling, and I'm very glad that you've been called to that work. Thank you very much.
Thanks. It's fun.
Thank you, Sheila. Concerns and comments. Citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement. Citizens in attendance shall be recognized by the mayor for comments, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Do we have any concerns or comments tonight? Seeing none?
Nothing at this time?
City attorney.
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Bradford.
Nothing, Your Honor.
City engineer.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Public safety.
Nothing, Your Honor.
DPW.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Did I miss anybody?
I have
Oh, there you are. Sorry. Mr. Cooper.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
The guys back there, thank you. Fire department, my family seems to be falling apart, and those guys have been awesome. Appreciate it. Police, you know, my wife's a cop, I understand that, but the police and fire have been phenomenal with my parents. Thank you.
No, we're not. I'd like to keep guessing.
Yeah. Just a question, did the city, police get included on anything that happened south of town? Or was
Not that I'm
just-
aware of.
Okay. Okay, just wondering.
No, we just covered calls for service with the county, the county sheriff.
Okay. I just wanna wish everybody a happy Easter, And then I've got some cards here. So we've got birthdays for Kathy Boyle. Jeff, if you wanna come up and get these. Laura Brennan. I might botch these names, sorry. Mark Cameron, happy birthday. Bridget Gillian, I don't know which is which. Tim Kozel, 2 years of service. Larry Finnan, 15 years. Jeremy Randall, 3 years. And Brandon Prince, 15 years. Look, he looks old. I do want to thank the police and fire. They've been down at the armory a lot the last 2 weeks, so these have done a very good job with the kids.
Mr. Kowalski, you're up. Mr. Smansky?
Nothing, sir?
I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Drive safely, come back. And I hope we've seen the last of the snow. I'm tired of it. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We'll adjourn and take a 5-minute break before we start on the work session.